Okay, so welcome to create more peace, love, and joy in your life without the stress, worry, and overwhelm. So here we go. In today's workshop, you are going to learn how to identify habits that you're currently living in that are no longer working for you. We're going to talk about specific routines that you can implement right now to create more peace and love and joy, and most importantly, manage your emotions. You will also learn I have a 5-step process to manage your thoughts and your emotions and also start shifting your thoughts and emotions. And then I will also help you overall to minimize your stress, anxiety, overwhelm, and essentially create a new world for yourself. When you start to master your thoughts, you are going to be able to see everything around you change and look at the world in a different way. And it's just so beautiful. We'll talk more about that, of what this new world looks like, but I want to get really right into that content. So, who am I? If you do not know me, I am Vanessa Ortali, and my first bullet here says, I'm just like you. And the reason I say that, sure, I have all my credentials. I went to business school. I've studied mindset for 15 years. I used to do executive and corporate mindset, team building, problem solving. I studied with the HeartMath Institute in California, where we worked with war vets and people who were firefighters and police officers to help them manage their mind even when surrounded by stress. But the reason I say that I'm just like you is because I want you to know that if you actually implement these things that I'm going to be sharing with you today, you can do this. I don't want you thinking, oh, well, of course she's a mindset expert. Of course she can do this. Of course she can shift her thoughts. I work with one-on-one and in groups, tons of people that have implemented these processes and have found change. So I want you to know that I'm just like you, and these can work for you too. I also know that you might be on this call, and if you're anything like me, you may be reading the self-development books, you know who Joe Dispenza is, Abraham Hicks, Michael Singer, and if you don't, those are some of my favorites. But if you do, and you're still experiencing overwhelm and anxiety, what I want these tools to do for you is I want them to close the gap between what you know and who you are on a daily basis. There is a difference between what we know theoretically in our mind and who we are and who we be and who we show up as. And that is the closing the gap, the knowing versus doing and being gap. And that's where I see the missing link, the blind spots, where people say, I know this stuff. Yeah, but be real. Are you actually implementing what you know? And I'm going to give you a bunch of tools that will be able to determine if you are, and that can help get you back on track. Because when I had kind of hit one of my rock bottoms, and rock bottom means something different to everyone, I was an entrepreneur at this time, and I was hustling. I was doing everything I needed to do to make 6 figures and beyond, and it just wasn't clicking. I knew I was missing something, and I couldn't figure out what it was. It wasn't until I hired a coach to actually show me that what I knew, I wasn't living, I wasn't being. So it took me some one-on-one time and that attention to really start embodying everything I knew to be true. And as soon as I moved from my head to my heart and started embodying everything I knew, that's when my business shifted. That's when I made 6 figures in 6 months. And so I want you to know that if you are running a business, if you are in the corporate world, these things will not only have an effect on your peace and your love and your joy, they'll also have an effect on your bottom line and your revenue. And this is often the missing link that kind of brings it all together. And so I wrote here the movie Inside Out. Have you seen the movie Inside Out? It is the cutest. It's like a Pixar movie. And it illustrates and depicts memories in your mind and thoughts in your mind. And yellow is for joy, blue is for sadness, and it has, I think, about 5 different emotions. It's not important. What's important is when I watched this movie Inside Out, when I was kind of at this low point. I was doing everything I needed to do to be successful. On the outside, I looked happy. But when I asked myself, what color are those bubbles in my mind? And I'm going to ask you the same question. Think about how you actually feel inside. Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you angry? Are you resentful? And when I looked and asked myself when watching this Pixar movie, Inside Out, how am I actually feeling? What are most of my marbles? Most of my marbles, bubbles, whatever you want to call them, they were blue, which was sadness. And I started to realize, okay, this is the shift. I need to feel better. So my main goal in this workshop is for you to feel good. Once you start to feel good, your world will shift. And this is what I call my mental Olympics. So when I hit that point where I just wasn't seeing the results, monetary, inside, and I wasn't feeling great, I had had enough. And so if you're at that point where you're thinking, I cannot go on this way, there has to be something more, then this workshop is for you. And this is what I started calling my mental Olympics. When you work out, when you shower, you have to continue to do it. There's nothing different with your mind. You have to start doing the tools. You have to start practicing. You have to start living in order to start shifting your thoughts. Because if you want to see something different in your life, you're going to have to start doing something different. And yet our mind is often the thing that we approach last. Mental Olympics, you train for it every single day. I still train for my mental Olympics because I believe that my thoughts and how I show up is the most important thing in my life. And I try to live and breathe that so that I can teach you. Okay, so here's number one step. I need you to start collecting data. How are you going to do that? What does that mean? I need you to set your alarm on your phone. So write this down. I need you to set your alarm on your phone to go off every 2 hours. When this alarm goes off, I need you to ask yourself 2 questions. It's super simple. How am I feeling? And what did I just tell myself? What thought just went through my mind? And I want you to do this for 7 days. What this is going to do for you is collect data on your thoughts. And I put here subconscious thoughts because we talk about this in cognitive behavioral therapy. We always have thoughts and movies was what they call it, running through our mind. And what the alarm is going to do, it's going to bring to the forefront thoughts, automatic patterns that are happening and that you're currently living in. I work with therapists, coaches, and when I give them this, they're like, oh, that's no big deal. I do it all the time. It's fine. I know my mindset is good. I get them to do this activity. I've had therapists come back to me and think, oh shit, Vanessa, I am a real asshole to myself. And that's exactly what I thought when I started doing this and when I started my mental Olympics. I wanted to know, what am I actually thinking? Because your emotions and how you feel are connected to what your thoughts are and what you're telling yourself. Well, would you have it, every time that alarm went off, I was telling myself, what do you have to do right now? You got to keep going. Oh my gosh, you have to go. I can't believe you haven't done that yet. Oh, you have so much to do. And I was just this little annoying thing like sitting on my shoulder. And that, once you have your data, you know our starting point. That's when we can start to shift the thought. That's when we can start to shift the patterns. But you have to know, how are you currently living, even subconsciously, in order for us to change. So we're going to go next to alignment. Okay, what does this even mean? I want you to think about, when do you feel good? When do you feel at your best? What does that actually feel like? And you want to make a note. I want you to write that down. This is going to be a journal prompt for you this week. What does alignment feel like? When am I at my best? What does that feel like? Again, we have to start moving from your head to your heart. So I want you to close your eyes for a moment, and we're going to just do a little exercise. So I want you to close your eyes, and I'm going to say a bunch of words. And I want you to try to feel these words in your body. And I want you to feel what they actually feel like. You got to feel them. If you can't, that's okay too. I'll talk to that after, but I want you to feel these words. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and I want you to feel peace. What does peace feel like in your body? What does it feel like in your cells? Are you envisioning a certain picture? Are you able to feel it in your body, in your heart? The next word is love. What does love feel like? And then joy. What does joy feel like? Freedom. Feel freedom. Take a deep breath, and I want you to feel ease. What does ease feel like in your body? And take a deep breath, and I want you to go to your pen and paper at this moment. And I want you to make a note of what words were easiest for you to feel, which ones were a little bit more difficult. And what this exercise is made to do is to start bringing you into your body. Start feeling what's happening and starting to close that knowing versus being gap, being and doing gap. And that's going to bring us to our next activity here, which is to create your own alignment list. So what I want you to do is I want you to write out a list of all the things that bring you into alignment. So once you know the things that make you, what it feels like to feel good, I want you to know what things, what actions, what activities you do that actually bring you into alignment. So that could be taking your dog for a walk. It could be meditating, journaling, having a cup of tea, hanging out with your friends. I want you to write an entire list, and we're going to call it your alignment list of things that you do that bring you into alignment. And the purpose of this list we're going to use when we start building routines to bring more peace, joy, and love into your life. Okay, so we have our routines. So first we talked about data. We want to collect data to find out where you are so you have a higher awareness of your thoughts. Then we started talking about alignment. When do you feel good? Really start thinking about how things feel in your body. Now we're going to build some routines to bring more joy and love into your life. So the first question I always ask when building routines, what is the purpose of that routine and how do you want to feel when doing that routine? So for me, my morning routine is always to bring me into alignment, bring me clarity for my day, help me to create that vision of what I want my day to look like, and really give me that strength and foundation so that when things happen during my day, they don't throw me, right? It gives me that strength, that confidence, that security that I need to tackle my day. When I look at my daily routines, I look at routines that are bringing me into my presence, that are giving me that break, that are bringing me back into my body and out of my head, and that are bringing me clarity so that I'm able to be more efficient and productive. When I look at my evening routines are to help me release my day, help me reflect on my day, and help me again to get into alignment and prepare for the next day. Because the evening routine is really important. It actually sets you up for success the next day. So when people ask me, I want to get to bed earlier, I want to have a better morning routine, I actually start with their evening routine the night before, because you want to release and you want to start having that routine to set you up for success. So when building your routines, I'm going to give you what I do in some of my routines, and then you can really start to build your own. Routines are going to help with your love, your peace, your joy in your life. So my morning routine, what I do every day before I even get out of bed, is I meditate. And then I ask myself, what do I want to create today? And then I also do a little visualization of what does it feel like to be my best self in this moment, in this day? What does my best self feel like? And then I visualize my best life and what that feels like. And this little thing gets me on a high. And when I say routines, I don't want you to get intimidated. These routines do not have to be an hour, 2 hours. As a matter of fact, I don't want them to be, or you're never going to do them. And I also want you to give yourself freedom. So for example, I do not, if you're anything like me, I do not give myself a specific routine to follow every morning. And let me tell you why. I don't say you have to journal, you have to meditate, you have to visualize, because inside me, I'm a little bit of a rebel. And I think, okay, if I have these things to do and I don't do them, I'm going to feel guilty. And if I do have that list in front of me, I don't want to do them because I hate when people tell me what to do. So that's why the first question I said was purpose. What is the purpose? So what I say to myself in my morning routine is my purpose is alignment. My purpose is to build that foundation and to visualize who I am. I can do that in whatever way I want. I have found a rhythm where I usually do the same thing every day, but the beautiful part is nothing is expected. The only goal is alignment. And that's why we talked about alignment before, because once you start getting very comfortable with what alignment feels like, you can give yourself that flexibility. So give yourself 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, and set a goal. And then give yourself that freedom and flexibility to do anything on your alignment list to help you get into that space. Same thing during my day. Right now, your daily routine is going to be your alarm on your phone. So that's easy. Set your alarm every 2 hours. Once you've done your data collection for the 7 days, maybe you do 2 alarms in a day and just remember to breathe. Or maybe you set a time that you go for a walk. Give yourself some flexibility, but still setting up the pattern for the routine. The flexibility comes in what you do. There's no have-tos, there's no shoulds. Connect to what you need. Again, we're moving from head to heart. So some other coaches and speakers might tell you, this is what you need to do to be successful. I want to give you the tools, but I don't want to tell you what exactly you have to do. I'm not going to tell you you have to go for a walk, you have to do this, because only you know you. And it's time that you start listening to you. Stop looking for all the answers outside of yourself and start turning inward. What I want to do in this routines discussion is help set up that framework to give you permission to turn into you. What is right for you? Set your goal for each routine, and then you figure out, how do I get into alignment in this moment? Okay, so you will be a little bit more intentional with these routines, and there might be a little trial and error, but that's okay. Evenings, same thing in the evening. What I normally do is I journal, I will meditate, and I'll take a bath, and I'll use oils, essential oils. That's kind of my routine. But again, whatever you need to do to release the day, to bring yourself into alignment, think about this though, whatever you do in the last hour or even the last 5 minutes before you fall asleep, you marinate in that for 8 hours if you sleep 8 hours or however long you're sleeping. So you want your last actions, your last thoughts, your last activities to be peace, to be joy. So maybe in the evening, you even incorporate that mini meditation that we had done in the last slide of thinking about, what does peace feel like? What do you want to marinate in while you're sleeping? Be intentional. And that's why I call this the Mental Olympics, because what this is, how to bring more peace, love, and joy, it's intention. It's slowing down. It's stopping being so hard on yourself. And I'm going to give you 5 steps to actually start being easier on yourself, loving yourself, and start processing and shifting those emotions. Because once you've done all of these things that we've talked about so far, You might DM me and think and be saying, you know, I'm not so great to myself. I have a lot of patterns that I want to shift, and that's okay. Honor wherever you are. And know that as long as you're taking one step forward, you are further along than you were yesterday. So right now is the best time to make a change. Because if you wait a day, a month, a year, then those patterns just get ingrained deeper and deeper, right? So let's start slowing down and let's start the change today, however small. Okay, so this is my favorite. After years of processing and shifting my emotions and training with people like Joe Dispenza and the Heart Math Institute, I basically put together 5 steps that work for me to shift and process my emotions. So here they are, and I'm going to explain to you what each of them are. Number 1, I want you to have awareness of your thoughts. Okay? Your alarm exercise is going to really help you with that. And some people, I often get a question of, well, what if I'm not aware of my thought? I don't care. Whenever you're aware of it, whether it be in the moment or later, hours later, you can still follow these same 5 steps regardless of when you come to awareness. If you come to awareness later, I don't mind. You can still follow the same steps. So number 1 is be aware of your emotions and your thoughts. If you're not aware of your thoughts, then try to be aware of your emotions. It may be easier for you to be aware of how you feel before you notice what you're thinking. The second step, I want you to breathe. So right now, we're all on this together. I want you to take 3 deep breaths and just notice your body. One more. Notice how it feels in your body. How often have you taken a deep breath today? And the reason I want you to breathe is because when we are triggered from our external environment and it triggers us internally, there is a chemical reaction. And I want to acknowledge that because it isn't your fault that you're being triggered. It could be your past. It could be things that you've been taught by your friends, your family, society. And so in order to change that, we first have to acknowledge that there's something chemical happening in your body. So the best way to move through that is to breathe. That chemical reaction usually lasts about 90 seconds, right? Which is about 1.5 minutes. Everything after that 90 seconds is all you. So if when you notice that you've been triggered, I want you to breathe. I want you to breathe and just acknowledge, okay, I'm having a chemical reaction here. And just breathe through it. You are not your thoughts. You're just living in patterns that you have the ability to change. The third step, so you notice the trigger, you're going to breathe through it. Take 3 deep breaths. The third thing you're going to do, and here's where, if you don't have time in that moment, if you're in a board meeting or something and you don't have the chance to go through all 5 steps, that's okay. In that moment, just pay attention to the trigger and breathe. You can do the next 3 steps later that evening in your journal or on your drive home. But if you can, then continue following to the next step. So number 3 is listen to your thought. What are you telling yourself in this moment? Are you telling yourself, oh, I can't believe this, you're the worst person ever, and I can't believe we're going through this again? Listen to your thought. The 4th step is validate. What does that mean? I want you to tell yourself it's okay. I get it. I get why you feel this way. Again, I had mentioned already when I mentioned that when you are triggered, You're not necessarily being triggered because of what's actually happening. You've been triggered by your external environment, and it has brought up memories, past experiences, past traumas. So I want you to validate how you feel. And this is the part that everyone misses. Don't miss this step. Step 4 is important. I want you to tell yourself, I get it. I get why you feel this way. I get why you think that. I understand. And I'm going to give you a quick example. You have a parent and a child. Parent number 1, so the child is crying. Parent number 1 says, oh, I can't believe you're crying again. This is just, I can't deal with you right now. Please go into the other room and just play with your Lego. Parent number 2 says, oh man, I saw you just fell there. That looked like it hurt. I'm so sorry that happened to you. Do you see the empathy and the understanding and the kindness and the love? It is time for you to start treating yourself better and start reparenting yourself. If you listen to your thoughts, and if you were to talk to your children or your friends or your family in the way that you talk to yourself, would you be proud of that? If you were to write out all the thoughts and emotions and feelings and things that you're telling yourself in your mind, and you were to write it on a transcript, would you be proud of that transcript? What would that transcript look like? Now's when you have to start changing the script. Here's the mental Olympics. These 5 steps, this is the mental Olympics, but I know you can do it. How you speak to yourself, I need to remind you, your thoughts are not who you are. You have learned these behaviors. You have been taught these patterns and behaviors. You might even hear your friends or your parents in some of those thoughts. So I want you to validate them. That's okay. Now, soothing. Soothing is my favorite part, and this is going to need some practice. What does it mean to soothe? I want you to start talking to yourself. And I have an entire slide for this. Soothing. So when you soothe, what that might sound like, if we go through all 5 steps, so you're aware of your trigger, right? You're going to breathe through. You're going to listen. You're going to say, you're going to validate, I get it. I get why you feel this way. Now we move into soothing. And this often is easier to practice by talking out loud, because you'll be able to hear how you sound. That might sound like, I'm going to get you to close your eyes. And I'm going to do a little soothing with you. And what that might sound like is, I get it. I get why you feel this way. I see you. I see you trying so hard. And I see you trying to help everybody around you. And I see your drive and your passion and your desire for more. And I think that is so beautiful. And I am so proud of you for continuing to reflect inward and to want to see change. In this moment, I know it might sound hard. I know it might sound difficult, but I need you to know that you are so much stronger than you even know. So we are going to take this one step at a time. We are going to take it one day at a time, one thought at a time. And I know that what this commitment is doing is improving my relationship between me and me. And I'm worth it. And you take a deep breath and you go. And that's what soothing sounds like. Do you ever talk to yourself like that? And I want to be very clear. I don't always talk to myself this way. Sometimes I still find myself, being that hard ass to myself, but then I come back. Okay, what am I thinking? validated. I get it. I get why you're worried about all the things you have to do. But I need you to know that you're going to get it done, and you always do. So let's take it one step at a time. Let's come back to presence, and let's find presence in this moment. I literally just had that soothing conversation with myself when I was in the bath this afternoon. So start soothing. So again, a couple tips for soothing: talk out loud, and you can also journal it. If you do automatic writing, this is a great way to practice soothing as well. But I said this in the soothing, what this is doing to create more love, peace, and joy in your life, you are improving your relationship between you and you. And that is the most rewarding thing that you could ever do for yourself, because you'll see the results magnified in every area of your life. So join the Mental Olympics with me right now. Commit to yourself and know that you are made for so much more. You do not need to live in this stress and worry and overwhelm and anxiety anymore. It'll still happen, but now you have the tools in these simple steps that I've shared with you today. Now you have the tools to start changing, to start taking it one step at a time. So what I want you to do, make sure you collect your data. I want you to keep me updated. I want you to keep me updated on all of these tools and tips. And what I want to share with you, if this is your jam, okay, and you are ready to commit, I want to share two things with you. Number one, I'm always there on social media. So I want you to make sure to message me, keep me updated. My Instagram, my Clubhouse, my handle is always the same everywhere. It's I am Vanessa O. I-A-M Vanessa O. So make sure you're following, send me a message, let me know that you were on this webinar and you implemented these processes and this is what came up for you, because I want to make sure you get the help you need. If you want to hop on a call and you want some more strategies, I'm always here. Just let me know. Hey, I want to hop on a call with you, or I'm looking for more support. Please let me know. Another alternative, if you are a fan of online workshops, online courses, I see you here. And if this is kind of your jam, I've created an entire course on this material. I have given you everything I know on mindset, on shifting your thoughts, and on creating the relationships you need in your life. So what I did is I broke it down into 5 modules. So I have your first module, which is goal setting, and your focusing phase. This is when you really start your intentions of what you want to start shifting in your life. Then I go into networking, how to network, how to create a better circle, friendships and professional, how to find mentors, how to start shifting those friendships and those relationships. Then I go into romantic relationships, how to start shifting and implementing these principles into your love life, whether you're married or single. Honestly, I'm going to talk about relationships in a way that you have never heard, and it will change your life. It has changed mine and my relationship with my current partner. And if you've heard me talk about it before, it's a huge story. If you haven't, DM me, and I'm doing a workshop on relationships so I can make sure to include you. Then we talk about self. What are other tools and principles you can use to continue to turn inward and improve that relationship between you and you? And then I take it to the 5th bonus module, where I talk about how to actually apply the Mental Olympics concepts into your business. Because if you're anything like me, and when I shared my initial, rock bottom story, I noticed it in work, right? I was doing everything I needed to do to be successful, and I still wasn't seeing results. So I'm going to teach you how I started applying all of these Mental Olympics mindset principles into my business to make 6 figures in 6 months and beyond. So I'm going to share that all with you, and I'm just so thrilled. So basically what I've done is I've taken everything that I teach in my one-on-one programs with clients and turned it into this online course. So it is about 6 weeks worth of content. I have 5 workbooks. Each workbook, how I would go through it: print out the workbook, use it as your journal, use it as your journal prompts. put it into your evening or morning routine. Then I have 97 videos. The videos are short, so don't worry. They're like a minute to 5 minutes. And I give you additional tools and motivation and inspiration. So I'd listen to videos in the morning or evening or day as part of my routines. And, or if I'm doing chores around the house and just want that extra knowledge and refreshment of what's going on in the workbooks. Then I also have virtual Q&A and email support. So if you want that support to continue diving deeper into your mindset, then you have access to me over our virtual Q&A and email. And then what I'm going to throw in, because you are watching this webinar, is I'm going to give you a free one-on-one session with me. We can dive deep. And I have to tell you, yes, I coach on business. Yes, I coach on mindset. My superpower is knowing your blind spot in probably, I can tell within 20 minutes what your blind spot is after asking you questions. And so we'll do a little blind spot one-on-one call with me, and I'll throw that in. So just to recap, and here's kind of the estimated value. If you were to coach with me one-on-one, the content that you're getting in this course is probably about $15,000 minimum. I was talking to I don't know if you're new in the coaching industry. I was literally talking to someone about coaching the other day, and they quoted me $30,000 for a year. And I want you to know my prices are not that, but I'm going to give you more value than that. You also have 5 workbooks, the 97 resources and videos, email support. You have lifetime access to the course. So as I add more videos and more resources, you get them. You're going to get the one-on-one call with me. So roughly, all of this is about $25,000. And this is rough, obviously, because some of these things are hard. I don't know what the value is. I mean, it's literally priceless for lifetime access to this course and email support. If you use these resources and actually use them, it'll be worth way more than $25,000 because you'll be able to see that back in your life. If I were to tell you right now, what would you pay for more peace and joy and love in your life? Are you there? Or do you need to hit another rock bottom before you start making change? And so you can go check out the entire course, all of the structure at launchyourpower.com/online-course. And the whole course, all of it, is only $997, including tax. That's it. You get the entire course. This is everything I know on mindset and implementing, like I said, those 5 modules. So we're going to go over intention, goal setting, your network, your friendships, your connection, your social circle, your romantic relationships, yourself. And this is everything you need. So if you're going to actually commit and do your daily mental Olympics, this is definitely for you. So what if you can go to this website, launchyourpower.com/online-course. You can purchase the course there, and then email me at launchyourpower@gmail.com. And then that's where you'll be able to book your free one-on-one call with me. If you want to chat more and if you have questions, please send me a DM on Instagram. I'm always on there. So you can go check out the course, launchyourpower.com/online-course. But DM me Launch Your Power, and I'll know you are here. I know you have questions. We can hop on a quick call and I can tell you more. Happy to answer any questions. Honestly, I do these workshops to give value, to make changes in your life. You could implement everything that we spoke about today and see results in 7 days. So I know you can do it. I am so, so glad that you are here and committing to yourself, because I know this stuff is a game changer. It has changed my life. Honestly, next week, my boyfriend and I, when I started doing all of this, I was single, sad, had no money, and implementing all these principles that I'm teaching you and that I'm always talking about on my social and in my workshops. I met the love of my life and have a relationship that I never thought I'd find. I am happier than I'd ever have been. I make more money than I ever thought I could, although I was always good at visualizing, so I knew I was made for more. I know the most amazing people, have the most beautiful community, work with the most amazing entrepreneurs, and we're moving into our dream house in a week. And so I don't share this to be boastful. I share this because, just like I said in the beginning of this presentation, I am just like you. This isn't something that's far-fetched, like, oh, I can never get there. You can do it. I want to be hope for you. I want to show you this is what I've done. I've had hardship. I've been to the point where I couldn't pay for my mortgage, where I couldn't even afford food. This is no joke. I couldn't even afford food. I was literally eating out of cans. I had to ask my brother to borrow money. I've been there. I know. And I implemented, even in these hard times, these mindset principles, and it completely shifted my life. The power is going to be, what are you being regardless of your external environment? Start finding peace, and then everything will change. It's not, oh, when I get this, when I do this, when I achieve this, then I'll find peace and happiness. No, the peace and happiness start now, and then everything around you changes. And this is this new world that I was talking about. So what does your new world look like? I know you can get there. Okay, I love you guys so much. We're going to head into Q&A. And so if you have questions, make sure to put them in the chat box and or raise your hand.